The wipers thrashed back and forth, barely keeping up with the heavy snow piling on the windshield. The highway stretched ahead like an endless ribbon of white, swallowed by the storm. My hands gripped the steering wheel tighter than ever, my knuckles pale against the leather. 200 miles, that's what the call demanded of me. 200 miles in the dead of night, across icy roads, to find the woman I hadn't spoken to in years. My mother. Each mile felt heavier than the last. The snowstorm was merciless, and my old car shuddered every time the wind slammed against it. I could have turned back, anyone else probably would have. But the thought of her, alone in this weather, drove me forward. The last time I saw her, she was leaving, suitcase in hand, no explanations. That memory had hardened into anger over the years. Yet, when the call came from a stranger saying she had been spotted at a small-town gas station, shivering in the cold, I didn't hesitate. The heater struggled against the chill, but it didn't matter. My chest burned hotter than any fire. It wasn't just the storm I was fighting, it was the storm inside me: anger, love, fear, hope. 200 miles to face everything I had buried for so long. The storm outside blurred the world into shades of white and gray, but inside the car, my mind was even louder than the howling wind. Every mile I drove seemed to pull another memory from the shadows. I remembered her laughter first, light and musical, the way it used to fill our tiny kitchen when she sang along to old songs on the radio. I remembered how she'd tuck a blanket around me on nights the heater failed, whispering, "When someone's cold, you share your warmth." That was her rule, her heart. But then came the darker memories. The fights. The slammed doors. The day she walked out with tired eyes and a bag slung over her shoulder. I stood at the window, waiting for her to come back, but she never did. My chest still carried the weight of that silence. Anger bubbled up even as the snow deepened on the road. Why should I care now? Why after all these years? Yet no matter how hard I tried to hold on to the bitterness, something softer kept breaking through. I saw flashes of her holding my hand on the first day of school, teaching me to tie my shoes, brushing my hair when I was too little to do it myself. She was broken, yes, but she was also my mother. And sometimes, love doesn't disappear just because trust does. The closer I got to the town, the more I realized this drive wasn't just about her survival, it was about mine too. I wasn't only driving through snow. I was driving through years of unanswered questions, toward a moment I wasn't sure I was ready for. By the time I reached the edge of the town, the snow had slowed, but the cold was sharper than ever. My headlights swept across shuttered shops and empty sidewalks, everything coated in a frozen silence. The gas station appeared like a faint beacon ahead, its buzzing neon sign flickering weakly against the dark sky. I pulled into the lot, heart pounding in my chest. The world felt too still, too fragile, as if it was holding its breath. Then, I saw her. She sat slumped near the side of the building, her back pressed against the brick wall. Her clothes were thin, far too thin for the biting cold. Her hands trembled as she tried to rub warmth into her arms, and her breath came out in pale clouds. Her hair, once full and neatly pinned, now hung in messy strands, streaked with gray. For a moment, I couldn't move. My chest tightened so hard it hurt. This was my mother, the same woman who used to braid my hair, who once knew every corner of my heart. And now, she looked like a stranger swallowed by time and hardship. Anger flashed, anger that she had let herself fall this far, anger that she had left me behind in the first place. But beneath it was something even stronger. A pull I couldn't fight. That bond. That invisible thread that no storm, no years, no silence could cut. Her eyes lifted as if she sensed me. They met mine, wide and wet, and in that instant, I saw it all, her shame, her regret, her fragile hope. She opened her mouth as if to speak, but no sound came out. And there I was, standing frozen in the snow, torn between walking away forever, or stepping closer. The snow crunched under my boots as I stood there, only a few feet away, but it felt like miles. My hands shook, not from the cold, but from the storm of emotions clawing inside me. Part of me screamed to turn around, to let the past stay buried. After all, wasn't it her choice to leave? Didn't she deserve the consequences of her decisions? But then, another voice echoed inside me. Softer. Older. Hers. When someone's cold, you share your warmth. I remembered being little, curled up under a thin blanket one winter when the power went out. She wrapped her coat around me instead of herself. She was shivering, but she smiled and said, "See? You're warm now. That's what matters." The memory shattered my anger. Without another thought, I shrugged off my coat. My arm stung instantly from the icy air, but I didn't care. I knelt down, draped it over her shoulders, and for the first time in years, touched her. Her body flinched, then collapsed into trembling sobs. She didn't say sorry. She didn't need to. Her tears, her shaking hands clutching at the coat, said everything words couldn't. I swallowed hard, my own eyes burning. My voice came out rough, almost breaking. "Come on, Mom. Let's get you warm." And in that moment, the years of distance didn't vanish, but they bent enough to let me reach her. The heater roared inside the car, filling the silence with its steady hum. I watched as she held her trembling hands close to the vents, her cheeks slowly regaining color. The coat I'd wrapped around her looked oversized on her now, like the years had shrunk her into someone smaller, frailier than I remembered. We didn't speak at first. Words felt too fragile, like they might shatter the moment. I just drove, the tires crunching through the snow, while the storm softened into a quiet drizzle of flakes. Finally, I heard her voice, hoarse, barely more than a whisper. "I didn't think you'd come." Something tightened in my chest. I wanted to be angry, to remind her how she had left, how many nights I had wondered why. But all I saw now was the woman who once gave everything she could, even when it wasn't enough. "I almost didn't," I admitted. My throat ached, but I forced the words out. "But I couldn't leave you there. Not like that." Tears welled in her eyes, spilling down her face as she turned to me. For the first time in years, I saw not just the woman who left, but the mother I once knew, the one who had loved me the best way she could, even when she failed. I reached over, hesitated for a heartbeat, then took her hand. It was cold, but it gripped mine tightly, as if she was afraid I'd let go. The storm outside still raged in patches, but inside the car, warmth bloomed, not just from the heater, but from something deeper. A fragile truce. A second chance. I glanced at her, then back at the road. "Let's go home," I whispered. She didn't answer, but the way her shoulders sagged in relief was enough. And as the miles rolled by, I realized something. Sometimes the hardest roads, the ones buried in snow, pain, and history, lead us back to the people we need most.